This time we are just going to talk about a very important poem, All the World's a Stage, composed by a great English poet and playwright named William Shakespeare. You might have heard of William Shakespeare and his plays and his poems as well, and we already know that he is a very veteran playwright and poet, and most often we just take him as an ideal of the poetic device and dramatic just masterpiece. So here just we are not going to light on William Shakespeare as a poet and playwright at length, but I can say that this time we are going to simply focus on the poem entitled All the World's a Stage, and through this poem we'll discuss the greatness of the poet William Wordsworth that he had expressed in this poem. We can say that he was a popular English poet, actor, and playwright. We also know that he has brought out the very famous script like Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and there are so many tragedies to his credit, including Macbeth, and so on. So we can say that the whole world is recognizing William Shakespeare as a classic writer of the play. But here his poem, All the World's a Stage, has gained immense popularity right when it was written, it was introduced. It was because of the fact that the poem is very realistically describing the seven stages through which man's life passes. It is out of the general observation of the poet that he has just tried to make out these seven stages, which are generally found in all the people living in all nook and corners of this world. We cannot say that it is only going to be applied to the people living in England and European continent. It is not like that. His just experience is so general that it can be applied to all the people, no matter where they are living. It is why just he is supposed to be the great just observer of human life, great observer of human culture as well. Just we can say that people are living into different cultural background, but internally they are responding in the same way. Here we can also say that the seven stages are the responses of the human lives that he has observed and he has composed into this poem. So it is a realistic observation of human life from the life of an infant who is just a newly born child to the old age where man is waiting for his death. In between these two extreme poles of human life, you can say that man is playing different kinds of roles with time and across time. So we can say that he is just going to be just a very realistic poet, and he emerges to be a very much realistic right. It is why he is remembered for his work. Even just we can say that the poems and his compositions have been written some more than 500 years back. Now we are coming to the next important point that we have made regarding this poem for our discussion is the source. We know that it is just a kind of just a very great philosophical observation that he is making in this poem, and through this poem the title itself is the conclusion of his philosophical just a speculation about the human life. But we cannot say that it is for the first time that William Wordsworth has just thought in that way, that this is the world and people are simply actors playing their respective role on the stage of the world. No, we cannot say that it is the first time expression made by William Shakespeare through this poem. We say that this phrase, like all the words say stage, is just discussed earlier too. So you can say that it is actually the monologue that we have taken from As You Like It, that these poems are very much found into the just comedy written by him, As You Like It, which is just a read comedy, well staged comedy as well. So we see that this very poem is found there. There is a context of the scene and the situation that we can show that this monologue has been just said by a melancholy character named Jax in Act 2, 7, Scene 7 of the play, and the lines that you find are between just 139 and 143. So actually, the poem with which we are concerned this time is just very much observed into As You Like It. It is the first point that we should mention. We can say that it is not an independent poem that the poet has written. Into that play, we find this poem is sung by a character who is melancholy and named Jax, and we find the place where just this poem is sung into that act, into that play is Act 2 and Scene 7, and we find that lines are 139 to 143. So this is actual just a context that we should understand, because just we have so many objective questions to face in our UGC examination, also in our university examination, also about the sources where from this poem has been taken, and about the aspects where this poem has been written. So these are all important points for us. Now we are just going to just make little bit of elaboration of the idea that here we find that Jax is describing this human life into 7 stages. They are all different 7 stages of human life. So it has been very transparently described there. And actually, we can say that before William Shakespeare, this kind of idea was expressed in medieval philosophy as well, which showed glimpses of several different groups as the seven deadly sins for theological reasons. So, in theology also, we find that life has been described in these shades as William Shakespeare has just described it. So, we already know that theology is the study of God's nature as well as religious beliefs. So, in medieval in theology also we can find that this poem is just and this kind of idea is expressed. Now, as you already know that in this poem, the poet through Jax, and we can say that Jax is the just representative of the poet himself. Just he is the very much person who is representing William Shakespeare himself, who has the belief of this kind, but it is expressed through Jax. So his is very finely describing man's life into the 7 ages, and we should understand from our examination, university examination point of view, that what are these 7 ages or stages through which man's life passes. So these stages are infant, it is the first stage, being followed by school going boy, then third stage is of lover and husband. Then we can say it is the fourth stage, that is of soldier and fighter. In fifth stage, we find the stage of justice or ability to understand the right and wrong. Then the stage of pentalon, that is greediness and high in status is coming. And lastly, the stages of old age. So just we are just very simply trying to describe here. once again for you all the seven ages that I am going to underline just them for you. It is infant, then school going, just what you can call child, then husband, and the fourth stage of soldier and fighter. Then we can talk of the fifth stage, that is of justice and ability to understand right and wrong. Then is the stage number 6, that is termed as pentalon. It is the stage of greediness and high in status. And at last it is the just seventh stage, that is the stage of old age. So in this way we can find all these seven stages for us. And we find that when we are passing through all the seven stages, the total epitome of the life is that it is just not so meaningful. It seems to be very much pessimistic, when we are going through all the seven stages of life. We find that no, it is just not so encouraging. But it is not the intention of the poet that we should live our life just pessimistically. We can say that it is with this realistic viewpoint we should spend our life. It makes us fight life in a better way, because we can say that our role in life is undergoing to change, as there is a respective role being performed by an actor on the stage, and the drama is supposed to be successful when only when all the respective actors on the stage are doing their respective roles. So likewise you can say, when we are just in this world to live our life, we cannot expect all the time that we should live the life of a lover only, and we should not live the life of an old man. Or most often, just when you are living the fourth stage of life, that is a fight or something like that, it is much more a struggleful life. We are just going back into our infantage. And there are so many poems, especially by just we can say American poets, where they are just going to remember the childhood, and just that the poet has spent. It is supposed to be the most memorable stage of life. D.H. Lawrence has also into the poem Piano just has just talked about the same kind of thing and so on. So we find, and just William Wordsworth has also just talks about the same thing, just same feeling, just when I behold rainbow. Just that poem also expresses very much a sweet life of childhood and so on. So we can say that most often we try to be into our childhood. But William Shakespeare is going to make us prepare that no, it is not only that kind of expectation with which you should live. Otherwise, we can not fight our life with a strength, with power, and genuinely we cannot give 100% to the particular stage of life. If just it is just like game that you are playing. When we are playing just like batsman, we should not repent for being the fact that okay, we could not be a bowler. And when you are playing like a bowler, we should not be repenting for the fact that we could not become the batsman. And the point is that whatever is our role decided into the field, that is the most important thing, and we should try to just play out the role given to us. So it is what the purpose is here. So we can say that instead of being pessimistic to look at the just a poem that most of the people can criticize William Shakespeare for on this ground, we should say that when just we are living life realistically, knowing the fact that sometime we'll be a father, sometime we'll be a grandfather, just then there is no difficulty in accepting the role and challenges therein. But when just you are just keeping ourselves stick to one particular point of role, and we think that no, it is only this role that throughout our life we should play, we find that it will be much more troublesome for us to spend the life. So just to be calm and cool and play our just role with distinctness, with remarks, we have to understand that yes, it is the present moment which is more lively, which is more important, and the role in the stage which are just given to us in the present stage is to be performed. And so and the same is the purpose of Jax also into that drama that he tries to mention there. So here it is what we can say about the observation of William Shakespeare that he has made when he has talked about this kind of thing, that life is just passing through 7 stages, and we should just try to accept these just stages with all their just merits and demerits solemnly. We just not there should be a burden on our heart and mind to be into the old age. It is also enjoyable. We can enjoy even the old age, despite the fact that we do not have any taste, we do not have any vision, we are not able to hear. Okay, these are all physical limits when we are in old age. However, we can say that there are certain very good points to just do into that old age also, and we can make it memorable, we can make it just sweet. So every stage is just to make our life sweet, and every stage is just to make our life a lively one. It is here that we are going to talk, and just there are certain references of this poem also that I'm going to read for you, and we should understand that these points of references are very important for us to know, because it is to be noted down that the comparison of the world to a stage and people to actors has not been done by Shakespeare for the first time. I have just earlier also mentioned when we are talking about the source of the poem that it was not William Shakespeare who has just made this statement that this world is nothing but a stage and man is nothing but an actor. We can say it is an action theory that we can say William Shakespeare has once again retold to us. It was earlier told in terms of the action or just a stage point of view, but we should notice that it is long before him. There was just an ancient Roman poet named Juvenal who wrote also almost the same versions into his satire 3, that he states that all of Greece is a stage and every Greek's an actor. It is here maybe different purpose to write. Here we can write the same line with different purpose. We cannot say that the purpose of writing by Juvenal that the country like Greece is just a stage and the people of Greece are an actor. Maybe just that time it was all the nationalistic feeling that just he wants to rage there among the people that we are made for the country, and our first duty is to serve our country in the best possible way. Here just what you can say that there is the just same line, but the just purpose of the speaker may be different. So here we can understand that the line is the same, but the purpose might not have been the same. So here from the line it seems that it is just to make people feel proud of their nationality, that they belong to Greece, because ancient Greece has a very excellent history. And as is the case of India, that India too has a very classic history, and we are all proud of it. And so Chanakya has also said almost the same kind of a statement to just encourage people to fight against British invaders. Likewise, so just we can just ignite people's to be nationalists when a nation is in trouble and so on. So there is that kind of context. There is another reference of Richard Edwards' play Damon and Pythias, which contains the lines, Pythagoras said that this world was like a stage whereon many play their parts. The lookers on the stage, we can also say that out of the different experiences they have written almost the same line, but almost the same feeling is there, that they want to make people do their respective role with all enthusiasm and so on. So Shakespeare belongs to the theater named Globe. It was founded into 1599, and Shakespeare's own theater, the Globe, was just containing what you can call a motto, and it was expressed like totus mundus, total, just what you can say, the motto is a totus, just mundus agit historiam, that is, all the world plays the actor, and its Latin text is derived from 12th century treatise. We can just mention another play of William Shakespeare. Just There is a play named Merchant of Venice, where also we can find that there is a character Antonio, and who is expressing the same kind of thing. So there too you find there is a comparison of this world with a stage, and we can go through the lines falling into Act 1, Scene 1 of Merchant of Venice. That is, I hold the world, but as the world Gratenio, a stage where every man must play a part, and mine is sad one. you know so here too we find that either it is the just a happy part that you are going to play, or it is the sad part we are going to play. We find that life has different shades, different colors. Sometimes it makes us laugh, sometimes it makes us weep, but we are just playing our respective role no matter what situation it is. And so we can not say that there is any sure prediction about the just colors of life. We can just simply not make this kind of thing in the very way. And we see that here there are just examples of our mythical heroes like Rama and Sita, and also there are just mythical heroes like Pandavas, whose life are very much clearly explained that there is no certainty of any kind of just shade of life. We cannot say that we'll always be king or will always be just beggar. So life changes its color, and naturally just we accept the role, whatever role life is giving to us. And dear students, we should also admit the same fact in our life. It is just for our positive outlook that we should understand this poem as well, because this poem is going to help you spend your life more realistically, more practically, and it always encourages you no matter in what part of life you are. Maybe sometime you fall into the sad just side of the life, but it doesn't mean that we should lose our hope, and we should stop doing our respective work, our duties which have been given due to the time and so on. So time is the decider, and it decides our role. But ultimately we can say this is the life, and this is the world where we are playing, as the role is decided by the time. So we are actor, and we should accept that role that is very much there for us, and so on. So we stop here for the time being, and next time we are going to discuss the next part of the poem. Thank you, and thank you very much for listening.